So I did it yesterday and it still be looking good. Hello, 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 peeps. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Sabrina Victoria. I am the host here at Her Talk Show. I have an amazing woman here visiting us today. Her name is Sherrika. She is going to be talking all about imposter syndrome. And I know we all we all know this word by this point. So I'm super excited to see her take on it and how she is navigating her own journey in this world. So this is going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
What else? If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. This is Her Talk Show. We're here every single day sharing goodness on how to better your life and your business. Let's jump right
Get
in.
ready, because today's guest is about to change the way you view your world. This is Her Talk Show, hosted by Sabrina Victoria.
If you're listening live, welcome. And if you're listening on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay wherever you're at so we can send you some love in the comments. We already have some peeps jumping on live. Thank you so much for being here. Listen, we have had over 600 women grace this stage. Yes, you heard that correct. We are adding
Wow.
Sherrika to the list today. Super, super excited. She is an accounting team strategist who increases the efficiency and advancement of professionals in corporate America. She helps CFOs with the accounting team issues, keeping them up at night. I just love that sentence because that is so true. So many times we have issues in our business that just stay with us. We're on our pillows sleeping. They
Right.
wake us up at 4 o'clock in the morning. What a great visual. 15 years of experience in corporate accounting, specializing in privately held and private equity organizations. She has a track record of proven success. Girl, thanks for hanging out with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I am so excited to be here and have this awesome conversation and drop whatever nuggets I can on all the awesome, awesome people listening. So glad to be here.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming with a title like this that you have dealt with some imposter syndrome in your past, working through it. I'd love to hear a little bit about your story before we jump into all the nuggets.
Yes. Dealt with, deal with, will deal with in the future. It's an ever it's an ever evolving thing because one of the things I've realized is new levels, new devils. And so as you continue to grow, you're going to continue to have, another type. At one level, your imposter syndrome may be, oh, I'm not worthy. I could never be a manager. I could never, lead people. And then you do that, you conquer it because you will. And then now you're like, oh my gosh, they would never put me over a whole, region. And so it's always there. But once you can recognize it, the faster you can recognize it and know that, wait a minute, I can do this. I've already done this. And for me, it was when I was in corporate America, being the only one in the room that looked like me, and not just as a black woman, but a woman, period, honestly. Excuse me, probably 8 out of the 10 times I was the only woman in the room. 9.5 out of 10, the only black woman in the room. And when I first started going into those rooms and getting the promotions, I used to sit there and I wouldn't say anything because I'm like, just be grateful that you're here. If you're too loud, they're gonna realize you're here and may say, wait a minute, we didn't Shrika, that you can go back, to your office, to your desk, that's okay. But then it was like, wait a minute, I deserve to be here. And not only that, I am already here. So I'm not trying to earn something in a place where I am already. And so it was really understanding that and acknowledging the fact that I worked hard to be where I was. And I worked hard. So my opinion mattered. They were going to hear what I had to say. They didn't have to like it. Everybody won't like what you have to say, but you have to respect it. And figuring that out, I'm like, okay, I got this.
Yes. I absolutely love that. And one of the things that I'm really liking about this new levels, new devils, um, is this concept that I have of the benefit of always looking for new problems. So I always say that if I am looking around and I have had the same problem for like 6 to 12 months, I am way too complacent. We need to be
Yes.
constantly searching for these new levels to have new problems. If you're still
Yep.
dealing with the same problems that you had last year or 2 or 3 years ago, you haven't
Yep.
moved.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. Yep. I just posted something yesterday saying that I do monthly webinars, and the one that I have at the end of January is called "How to Working Late or Working Extra Hours Does Not Increase Your Productivity." And so I'm like, we have to know this. Like, you can't come into 24 doing the same thing you did in 23 and looking expecting a different result. Something has to change. And so it speaks to exactly, what you just said. Like, if you're dealing with the same thing consistently, if you have the same people giving you the same type of feedback, it's not everybody else. You have to look at yourself and say, okay, what is it that I'm missing from this? What is it that I'm not learning from, this test or this, whatever you want to call it? And how can how, help me to see, show me what it is that I'm doing wrong so I can move on and move forward, because it's frustrating.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So most people that I talk to, believe me, I hear this word, I want to say every day, but at least a few times a week. What is your advice? What is some feedback that you have? Because I know your take on it is different. Most people, when they say, "Oh, I'm dealing with imposter syndrome," that's an excuse for them to stay small, little,
Yes.
anybody in the corner. You're
Yes.
actually coming at it with a different mindset, and you're saying that you're letting your imposter push you to work even harder towards an
Yes.
impossible goal. How do you do that?
Yes. So let's first, and I'm sure we've all heard of it, but just to make sure we're all on the same page, let's talk about what imposter syndrome is. For any of those who maybe experience it but don't have a name to attach to it.
I love
And
that.
imposter syndrome is the belief that you have not met any accomplishments. It's self doubt. Um, Imposter syndrome is what makes you think that you can't do something, and sometimes it's even something you've already done, but that you can't do something. You're doubting your abilities, and you hear it all the time. And to your point, people use it as a crutch to say, "Ugh, my imposter syndrome," and now I didn't do it because of that. Well, here I'm like, it's no longer an excuse. After you listen to this conversation, you can no longer use that. Take it out of your arsenal of excuses and find something else, because this is not one. And one of the main things is, when you are dealing with imposter syndrome, you typically downplay your accomplishments. But that means you have accomplishments, right? So you can't downplay something that's not there. Exactly.
Whoa, girl,
So exactly.
that was a mic drop. Wait a minute, girl. You have to say that again, because that
Yes.
is a big deal that I think we don't connect.
Right.
One more time.
Right.
One more time. And I want to
We
write it down.
downplay our Yes, we downplay our accomplishments, but you cannot downplay something that's not there. So that means you have the accomplishments, right? You've already achieved some things. You've already met the goal. For me, coming from a background of accounting, you've already completed the reports. You've already integrated revenue into the new system. You've already met the monthly close deadline. You've already met the project deadlines. So why is it you did it then and you can't now? So
Wow.
stop giving yourself reasons for why you can't do something you've already shown yourself that you can.
Mm.
So that's one of the main ones. And then it even goes more into your accomplishments. So accomplishments is, oh, nobody cares, nobody notices, but didn't you just get an increase? uh, isn't the manager calling on you for your feedback to get the things
Mm.
done?
Mm.
Doesn't the team come to you to help answer their questions? All of those are accomplishments of your knowledge and your ability. Don't downplay it because, oh, I'm not the manager today, so that means I can't be. You're already displaying the skill set. Because if you're still in corporate America, pretty much anywhere, you're 9 times out of 10, you're going to be doing the job before you get the job.
Yeah.
So keep having everybody come to you, and then make a note. That's the big thing. Make notes of these things. Write it down when people are coming to you. Write it down whenever you've been able to meet a goal. Write it down when you've handled the special projects, because not only can you now use that to market yourself for your next increase and for your next promotion, but it's also a reminder to you, like, I did that. I'm good.
Yes.
I'm awesome. Like, and you don't look for others to validate you, because a big part of imposter syndrome is we're looking for someone else to come and blow up our heads and tell us all the great things. I'm my biggest cheerleader.
Mm.
Nobody can hype me up better than I can hype up myself, because I know all the things that I've done. I know all the things that I'm capable of, and kind of even segue into the next one. People say, and kind of like what we first started talking about, you use imposter syndrome to say no. Well, they always say no. They don't think they can do anything. No, no is a very powerful word. And sometimes, what if we're just saying no because we value our peace, we value our time, and I know how much I can have on my plate. And so I'm not going to let you downplay my achievements and what I'm able to do because I'm not saying yes to you. I'm not available for you. And when I
Mm.
am available, then I will let you know. But no doesn't mean that I can't. It means that I'm happy with what I have right now. I'm satisfied with what I have right now. And you probably just need to get in line and wait. Um, there's nothing wrong with saying that I'm at capacity. So saying no, take advantage of that. It's a powerful word. It doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean inability. It means that I know my limits, and I enjoy my peace, my health, my mental well-being is more important than anything that you're trying to add on to me. So that's another one that you hear people, oh, they're going to say no, they don't think they can do it. No, I'm just at capacity right now. But if you would like for me to do that, what are you willing to take off of my plate? What are you willing to help
Mm.
with? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. While you're talking and I'm just kind of mulling over all of this, I think it's very interesting how you are almost identifying imposter as a separate entity from you. So it's like not you, like own
Hmm.
your imposter as if it is something that it's actually like outside of you. Like it is not you. It's something that you can actually own, change, have, manipulate, you know, shift,
You,
refocus.
you know what? Yeah. Yeah. Because if it were you, you wouldn't have been able to do all the things that you've done.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole, angel on the right, devil on the left type situation. Which one are we going to listen to today? Well, you know what? Today I can't devil. Like, I'm not here for it.
Yeah.
I can do
Yeah.
this. So yeah, it is something that we do pick up. It's something that it's a heavy burden that we put on ourselves of why, and we use it to say, well, this is why this hasn't happened for me, because I didn't meet the goal. I'm not worthy. And you give yourself all of these reasons why not. But then let someone else come to you and tell you what you can't do. Then it's like, oh wait, no, I did this, I did that. Who are they to tell me? And it's like, oh, there it is. There she goes, you know. I'm glad you
Yeah.
finally were able to get rid of that other person. So yeah, I do believe it is a separate entity. And I think honestly, it's even powerful that you recognize that, because I think if we started looking at it that way, where it's easier to drop it and to let it go.
Mm. Mm.
Versus if we're making it a part of ourselves, then how do we let ourselves go, you know? But if it's, oh, this
Absolutely.
isn't me, this isn't who I am, I'm going to brush that off. So, yeah, I
Absolutely.
love the way you frame that.
And also, like, you kind of were, open it right away when we first you started the podcast, and you were like, yes, in the past and currently and in the
Mhm,
future. So I
mhm.
think it makes it a little easier to conceptualize that way, because it's just kind of like sometimes it creeps back up. Sometimes it comes right back
Yes.
up here.
Yep,
And
yep.
you got to kind of, slap it around a little bit and put it in its place.
Mhm, mhm. Absolutely. And I'll even say, so, um, with starting my business. So I've been in business a little bit over a year now, so still fairly new to entrepreneurship. Probably 2.5, 3 years ago, if someone ever asked me about having my own business, as a matter of fact, my husband used to ask me all the time, why don't you do accounting on the side? Why don't you open your own bookkeeping? I'm like, no, why would I ever do that? I like knowing when I get paid. I like my salary. I like my bonuses. And while, yes, it is a lot of work, I like my security of being in corporate America and not having to worry about how I'm going to make my money. And I used to say, I will never leave corporate. I will always be a W-2 employee. And I would have bought the t shirt if somebody had it. Like I was just committed. Committed to that life, you know? But it was
The
finally like, I don't know, I
W-2
had a
life.
wake-up call. Right, right, exactly.
I love it.
Hashtag W2 life, yes.
Yeah,
And
I love
and you
that.
know what? If that's your thing, that's your thing, but make sure that it's working for you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't working for me. And I had to realize, like, wait a minute, we can't keep going to, because one of the things with always working with like private equity and privately held companies, they typically grow by mergers or acquisitions. And so they always have some sort of change or that they're going through. Case in point. So in my 15 plus years, I have led teams through all the changes, mergers, acquisitions, divestitures, IPO, which is going public, in and out of bankruptcy, even reverse mergers. Like all of these different, there are always some type of change going on, which means that you're bound and they need your time, they need your extra time. And hey, we're working on this and this. And now, granted, once these changes happen, you have some great bonuses that come with it. And that's why I say, if that's your thing, that's your thing if you want to stay in corporate, but make it work for you. Don't have it where, they are, which was my position at one point in time. Oh, I can take my time off or I could go on vacation, but then when they call, I need to make sure I have my laptop in case somebody needs something. Or I need to make sure I'm available on the weekend, or, staying late when they need me to, working from home, even though, I had other plans and things to do. So it was like, wait a minute. Uh, One, no became a really powerful thing. And don't be afraid of no, because people will sometimes say, oh, I can't say that. That's my boss, or I can't say that. They'll fire me. No, that's another part of that imposter syndrome. They're coming to you because they know that they need you. They're coming to you because they know that you're capable. They're coming to you because they know that you make an impact in that group or in that department. So own that and say, you know what? These are the things on my plate right now. I would love to help you with that. What would you like to take off? Or let's
Mhm.
sit down and go over what my current priorities and see where that can fit in. Because when you do it that way, it also puts ownership back on that other person. And they're like, oh, wait, well, maybe let me get you some help. Or let's delegate some things out to other people. So, don't be afraid to speak up for you, because no one else is going to advocate for you. So don't be
Yeah.
as afraid to speak up for you. Um, and another thing with imposters, people will say, or some people will say that, oh, they set the goal too big for themselves. Well, that means you're changing. That means you're evolving. It forces you to continue to educate yourself and learn. So there's nothing wrong with setting goals at all. And you want to set the goal so that it's something that you work for. You know, you don't want to set a goal of, oh, I'm not going to have sugar for the next month when you don't like sweets. Is that really
Mm.
going to be hard to do? You know, but don't make it impossible for yourself either. Don't say, I'm not going to have sugar for the next month when you know your Starbucks with 12 packs of, sugar is your fix every day. Ease into it. Maybe I'm going to have 6 instead of the 12. Ease into it. But it's about knowing yourself. Ultimately, that's all of it is. Being at tune with yourself, who you are, embracing the great things about you and embracing your areas of opportunity, because that's how we look at them. Not the bad things, not the mistakes, my areas of opportunity. And embracing all of that about yourself and leaning into that. I'm not perfect. I don't have all the answers, but I'm okay with that. And honestly, and I even tell my kids this. I'm like, if you're the smartest one out of your group of friends, you need a new set of friends, because who's pushing
Mm.
you to grow? They're
Yeah.
building, they're learning from you, and now you're stagnant. So stay in the company of people that are going, or stay in the company of people that are in the place you're trying to be. Get
Mm.
comfortable there. And then once you're comfortable there, go for the next one. So it's
Absolutely.
it's it's all a mindset. It's and just embracing the awesomeness that we have in us, honestly.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. Ah, so much good stuff. So much good stuff.
Thank you.
Um, what do you do when, or has this ever happened to you, where it's not necessarily you who's downplaying who you are or what you've done, but it's maybe someone else? Like I had
Yeah.
a close friend of mine just innocently, not to be rude, but called my business a little business. Like, "Oh, how's that little business going?" And I was like, "Excuse me?
Right.
What do
Right.
you do?" Or has that ever happened? And then what do you do? Do you call it out? Do you not say anything? Do you brush it against, under the rug? Do you correct? How do you handle that?
I've handled it a couple of different ways. And yet, so yes, it has definitely happened in corporate, and even honestly since, the little business type comment. Yes, since I've even gotten my own business. I think it depends on your audience. And I say that because some people don't know any better.
Mm,
And like, to my family member who lives in rural, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. And so my family is all in rural South Georgia. And so to them, let's say little business, because once I try to explain to you what I do, that's a whole hour long conversation. And you're still going to be like, okay, but so no, little business. If that's what we need to get past this conversation, fine. Just know that this little business doesn't have me asking you for money. So
there you
if
go.
anything, it's the other way around. So
I love
so
it.
I let them have little business. But when I'm dealing with someone, especially if it's um, like at work, or a peer who knows the struggle, another entrepreneur, or even in corporate, maybe someone that you even report to, or a team member, someone who knows your accomplishments, then I take it as, oh, okay, you're trying to downplay what I've done. And I
Mm,
correct it on the spot. And when you say little business, using that, same analogy, when you say little business, you mean the one that I've had successfully for the last, 3 years, the one that's right now paying all of my bills and allowing me to take the trips that I need to take, the same one that's allowed me to have over 600 women on my show? Is that, or were you talking about something else? It's
Yeah. Yeah.
and what do they say? What do they say to that? Because if that's little business, then tell me what's big,
Ooh.
so I can show
Yeah.
you I can do that too.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah, and you definitely get that. And when I was in corporate, people would say things like, we may meet a goal or whatever. And I'm like, we were able to, get the report out in 2 days instead of 4." And then you'll hear, well, it shouldn't have taken 4 to begin with. Were you aware of all the steps that it took? I didn't know
Mm.
you'd done it before. Oh, I'm sorry. What, like really clueless. Oh, I didn't realize you'd done this before. You should have
Wow.
shared with me all of your nuggets of wisdom while we,
Yeah.
I have a really dry humor, and I'm very sarcastic. So, just play into who you are. Insert self and
Yeah. Yeah. But I do think it is important to be mindful of that and how we are talking about it, like you said, and then how we allow other people to define it. I think is very
yes, and
important.
I think that's a big thing what you're saying. It's not letting other people define you and your accomplishments. Because when you allow those type of comments to get to you, that means that you're relying on their validation. And you
Mm,
don't need their validation. You're already validated. You've already done it.
absolutely.
And so that's why I can say my little whatever tone, or with others I can ignore it, because I know either one, they don't know any better, or two, I don't need them. I don't
Mm,
need their approval. I don't need their recognition to do what I need to do for me. And so when we start relying on other people to give us our flowers, to give us the pat on the back, hey, everybody, tell me I'm good, then that's when you start falling to those different comments of, oh, your little business. Oh, you only did this. Oh, that's a cute little, you're excited. I just bought a new house. Oh, I saw your little, that's a cute little house. What the?
unless
So
it's a unless it's a little tiny two-door Porsche, then you can call it a little Porsche.
right, right. Right. Oh, I like your little car. You mean the Jaguar? Oh, okay.
I love that. I love that. And while you're talking here, and I talk about this a lot with the ladies that I work with, who are running their own businesses. And I think it's so important for each one of us to have a real vision that we have for our business, 5, 10, 15 years out. What is
Mhm.
the vision? Because where
Mhm.
you are now, I am sure, is not where you ultimately want to be. Everyone
Right.
deep down, even the most conservative person deep down,
Right.
is looking to expand to some degree. And
Yes.
when we have a clear vision of what that looks like, I think it's a lot easier to correct ourselves and or
Mhm.
jokingly, correct those around us because it's real,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know, it's
Yeah.
real.
I
The
I would agree with that. And I'm sorry, what you did I cut you off?
I was just going to say that the vision that I have for her nation is enormous, and I say that all the time. I'm like, it's enormous. Like, I don't the vision that I have for the community that I run, I don't know if I'll be able to do it in my lifetime. Like, that is how expansive it is.
Yes.
So because I'm so sure, I am so certain, I talk about it every single day. Everyone that asks knows. When that
Mhm.
person, just out of just normal conversation, said that, I was able to jokingly and not jokingly say, whoa, 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 whoa. Little, it's freaking enormous. And then they
Yes.
laughed and whatever, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, sorry, enormous." Um, But keeping that vision aligned is very, very important for me, and not allowing myself or anyone around me except for what makes sense, which was what you said earlier, which
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
totally agree with that and 100% understand that. Rural Atlanta or rural Georgia, not worth the fight or the argument. But yeah, definitely standing up for yourself, your brand, your company, your community, your clients, and what you're building, I think is incredibly important. We have something here. You want to read this?
Sure, I agree. When you stand in yourself, other comments don't matter. Instead, it shows more about the commenter. Absolutely. Choose
Mm,
your battles. You don't have everything isn't worth the fight.
yeah.
And just in standing and being confident in who you are, if you're not giving people something to talk about, then you're probably doing something wrong. Because
Mm,
people are going to always try to look for something. And honestly, sometimes it's even your closest friends and family, and they may not mean to, but your vision can scare them. And because they don't see it, then they're trying to, and they're like, I just don't want to hurt you. I just want to be realistic. I don't live in realistic.
mm.
I live in faith. I live in the beyond. And I know that there is more out here for me. And as long as I continue to pursue that, then I'll continue to climb. Which also, don't tell everybody everything. Everybody can't handle it. Even like everybody can't handle what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go. And
Yeah.
so you have to, sometimes you just have to be quiet and do the work, and then it's like, whoa, wait a minute, and just let them see the once you reap it.
Ye
Exactly, don't live in realistic anymore.
100%.
Because who defines what that is?
Yeah. And this is why I love being around a community that understands it. Like, if you are a business owner, be around other business owners. If you're health and wellness coach, be around other health and
Yes.
wellness coach. If you're looking to lose weight, be around other people losing weight.
Yes.
If you're working on a healthy marriage, be around people who are also in healthy marriages or working towards healthy
Hmm.
marriages or in therapy for healthy marriages. Because other people that aren't living a life similar to you or have a similar vision, they don't
Right.
get it. You know,
Nope.
like if you're having
Mm-mm.
issues with your marriage and you're used to collaborating or going out to lunch with your girlfriends who all talk shit about their husbands or their partners,
Yep.
and then all of a
Yep.
sudden you're trying to take therapy and you're learning all these new things and you bring it to that group, they're going to be like, low key, what?
Exactly.
Not
Exactly.
interested. Maybe one of them would be
Hmm.
interested, but the majority are not gonna be interested. So you then have to
Mm-mm.
pivot. You have to find some new friends. I feel like you probably found that when you moved from,
Yep.
corporate to
Yep. And I
entrepreneurship.
believe that everyone is in your life. Uh-oh. There we are. I missed you for a minute there. You were saying something, I think.
Go ahead. It was your turn, I finished.
Okay. Were
If
you,
I think
I
it
think,
just cut
oh,
it cut me
okay.
off, so you
I'm
didn't
sorry.
it cut me off, so you didn't hear me, so then I ended up
Oh,
talking over you. But go ahead, you were saying something.
uh, I feel that everyone is in your life for a reason, a season, and a lifetime.
Mm,
And it's learning, acknowledging that, and learning that sometimes after you get to a certain point, you know what, it's time to move on. This person, our relationship no longer serves me. And that can sometimes hurt, because it can be people that you've known for years, and sometimes it can
yeah.
be someone that you just met, and they, may introduce you to another great person, and then you lose that, connection for whatever reason. But I always try to do a reevaluation or an assessment of the people in my life and say, are they are they a benefit to me? And am I a benefit to them? Because I don't want to hold
Mm,
anyone else back either. But
yeah.
are we growing, or are we just stagnant and sit around complaining all day to each other and then go back to being miserable? Like, you have to learn, that make sure that you have people in your life that are going to help you get to that next level. Even if it's just that person who is going to say, you know what, I understand, friend, but have you tried this? Let's look at that, But, and also to your point of the groups, like make sure you're with like minded individuals,
Yeah.
because otherwise you're going to put a lot of extra stress and worry on yourself trying to convince people that you shouldn't be talking to in the first place, trying to convince someone else of your story or why you should have this, or nope, just let it speak for itself. Stay in
Yeah.
those groups, stay in those circles that are going to help you to grow, stay in a company of people who are where you want to be, and then continue to evolve and grow. But you can't grow when you're still, hanging out with the person that's making 30,000 a year and okay with making 30,000 a year. If you're doing that and that's what you want to do, that's fine, but that's not where I am in life nor where I want to be.
Yeah.
So I love you. I'll see you in passing, but I have to move on.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
I remember there was a interview. I know we're wrapping up here, but there was an interview that Oprah did. She was talking about her friend Gail, her best friend Gail, and they've been friends for decades. And she was talking about the friends that she has lost, the friends that she has
Mhm.
had to separate herself from because she was going in such a different direction,
Yeah.
and the vision that they had for themselves was not big enough. It like didn't fit in her world anymore. Um, or her vision was too big, and they didn't fit in her vision anymore. And the heartache that caused, the
Hmm.
the uncertainty and the overthinking, as far as, is this
Hmm.
right? Should I be doing this? But very similar to what you said, if it's not serving you, you don't
Mm-mm.
want to be, you don't want to be the smartest one in the room.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, when I was talking about my business to a friend of mine recently, and I'm like, I'm going to have $1 million business. And they're like, but I mean, how are you going to do that if, and I let them ask whatever the question was. And I made a note to self of, we can never have this conversation again because
Yep.
I love you, but you don't understand.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to waste, honestly, my time trying to explain to you my greatness. I'll just let you see it. You'll see, and we'll just leave it there.
Yes.
But it's,
Yes.
recognizing that,
Yep.
recognizing that.
I always say that. I always say, I'll see you in 5 years. We'll see where we're at in
Yeah.
5 years. That's always my go-to. I'm like, okay, I'll see you in 5 years.
Right,
As we're wrap,
right.
as we're wrapping up here, you want to read this comment?
Y'all are definitely speaking my language. Lifetime, reason, season. Everything has its time, no matter what, especially if I'm outgrowing what's around me. It's not malicious, it's just time. I love it.
Mm,
I love it.
mm,
You're absolutely, yep, that's it.
absolutely.
That's it.
Well, this has been absolutely phenomenal, Sherrika. Obviously, we're getting a really good idea of, who you are, what you do. Um, I'd love for you to just take some time. We have a ton of people watching live right now. They're obviously resonating with what you're saying. If you could share with us exactly what you do, exactly who you help, and who should be reaching out to you.
Yes. So, and I think I mentioned this when we were talking about my introduction and how it kind of plays into today. So, yes, I work with the accounting teams, but my ultimate focus and my passion is the woman in accounting. And so, the reason why I'm saying this is because in starting my business, I had full on imposter syndrome where I'm like, they don't really know me like that. And yeah, I've done all these great things. I've overcome a lot in my career, but they don't know me. And so I'm like, but I can work with the teams and I can do that well. And it kind of takes the attention off of me. But you know what? The woman in accounting, the me is my passion. And so I work in helping my passion and building my purpose. And so, yes, I'm helping other women in accounting teach the profession, how to love them. Teach a profession they love how to love them back. Honestly, that's what it is. And I have a monthly newsletter that I produce on LinkedIn called Transform Tuesdays. Please subscribe. It's just giving tips and tricks of how to navigate corporate America, professionally advocating for yourself, people that you need to be resilient in life, how to ask for the promotion, all the things to survive in corporate. Like I mentioned, at the end of this month on January 31st, I'm having a webinar. It's how working late does not increase your productivity. So I'm trying to help people break the cycle of mistakes that they made in 23 and not bring them into 24. There's a small fee of $25, but that's because I want to make sure that you're serious about this. I'm serious about what I do. And so I want to make sure that people who are listening in are just as serious about that. My website, also my company name is called Transform the Gap, GAAP, and that speaks to anyone in accounting. If you're in accounting, you'll understand what the gap means. It's an accounting term that means generally accepted accounting principles. I take a play on that and say goals assigned achieving purpose. But the gap, GAAP, in my company name is what speaks to other accountants and how, like, our own personal language, so to speak. I'm on all social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all as Sherrika Accountant Career Coach. Please follow me. You have any questions, please reach out. I love to just honestly have a general conversation. If you need help with anything, you're trying to figure out how to navigate this life we call corporate America, you're trying to navigate, or you have questions about the transition from corporate to entrepreneurship, I'm here to help, love to help. I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate this opportunity to sit down and talk with you, Miss Sabrina Victoria. It has been absolutely amazing. I love your energy. And just happy that you allowed me to share a little bit of myself with your audience. So grateful to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing so much awesomeness with us. I know that there are so many humans who deal with imposter syndrome, and just seeing it through your eyes and really creating a different way, a different mindset to be able to overcome, this thing that has so many of us procrastinating and pausing and not moving forward in the areas of which we want to. So this has been absolutely fantastic. To those of you listening live, thank you for being here. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, follow Sherrika. She is on social media all over. It sounds like her website. Is your social media on your website too?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So check out her website, connect with her on social, follow her, see all the goodness that she's doing in her world. Any closing thoughts as we wrap up?
In addition to thanks, I would just say that at one point I didn't know my worth, and others knew that I didn't know my worth, and so they took advantage of that. And so just know who you are. Be okay with who you are. Accept who you are and know that you're great and you are enough. And that's it.
I love it. That brings us to an end of yet another incredible episode of Her Talk Show. Thank you, lady, for sharing your wisdom, for inspiring us all. Once again, I am your host. I am Sabrina Victoria, and I invite you to join our amazing community, Her Nation, where we continue to uplift each other every step of the way by having